3, 2, 1, crack.
Ladies and gentlemen, you know what that sound means. It's time for another episode of A Beer and Review.
So pour it high and let it gleam. This is the podcast, Sip and Dream. Stay for the fun, we've got more to do. Oh yeah, it's A Beer and Review.
Welcome to another episode of A Beer and Review. This is episode 128. We are reviewing Send Help and Drinking Queen of the Coast. I am your host for the evening, Keith Fuchs, along with two of my best pals, Mr. Lucas Walker.
Hey, guys.
And Lane Good.
Howdy, world.
Oh, it's good to see you, gentlemen. If you're new to A Beer and Review, the concept is simple. We watch a movie, we review the movie, we drink a beer. Or if you're Luke, you drink wine because apparently he doesn't like to drink beer anymore. That happens when you get older. We're in our mid-30s now. It's respectable. We appreciate it. But we're going to review that beer, at least me and Lane are. Before we get into that, boys, let's catch up a little bit. How are we doing this evening?
I'm doing absolutely wonderful. I hosted a barbecue for the coworkers, so I was on the grill. I have officially joined Team Blackstone. I don't know if I've announced that on the podcast. Let me tell you, boys, my burgers are next level. So anyone who wants to try one of my new burgers, they are just divine. So it was a great evening. I cooked for 9, which was fun. I really got to utilize the full 36 inches of the Blackstone. I was doing bacon, I was doing buns, I was doing patties. It was great. So a wonderful evening for your boy, and I'm very excited to drink and talk flicks with you.
Yeah, hosting and cooking on the Blackstone is pretty elite. Mostly, I mean, one of the big reasons is it kind of gives you like an out on the socialization, right? Like you're busy, man. Like, yeah, you can come over here and chat with me, and we can chat mostly about what's happening here in front of me on the grill. We can chat other things as well, but like, don't expect too much from me because I'm busy. Like my shit is here. It's important. And I love that. I love doing that. The flat tops, the Blackstones, the whatever's, pretty elite. Boys, I'm doing very okay.
Yeah.
I'm very tired. I'm
I
just
bet.
incredibly tired. I've not had a decent night's sleep in like 10 days. I think in like a good 8-day stretch, I maybe got like 30 combined hours of like actual sleep. Just an amazing amount of interruptions of sleep over the last 10 days. And my days are even more tiring than my nights. I'm like basically the single father of 3 right now, while my wife is the single mother of 1. And it's fucking brutal. It's been a tough 10 days, but you know what? I'm here. I've still been watching some shit. I've still been getting after it, and it's gonna get better. So those are my words that I have to speak right now.
Well, I feel both of you on both counts of your main topics. Lucas, as you both know, I'm also a father. I have a 6-month-old who in the last 2 days, I'm running on a combined 10 hours of sleep because the 6-month-old a couple nights ago, I don't know if it was really sickness or just a bad bottle of milk, but she kept us up till about 2 a.m. And then last night, again, she wasn't sick, but she just like kept waking up, which was just so, yeah, also very tired, but fucking happy to be here. And as the proud owner of a Blackstone, although ours is the camping version, so it's a little smaller, but I fucking love it. It's fantastic to cook on. But I'm here, and I'm excited to be here, boys. And I'm very excited to talk about what we have been watching, because I have one specific thing that I've been watching, and I'm glad that Lucas made it for the podcast tonight, because I want to briefly talk through a couple things with him on what I've been watching. But first, let's get to what you guys have been watching. Mr. Good, I'll start with you. What have you been watching?
Well, it's nice to see you boys for the first time since I've officially decided to do this, but I did announce on the pod last week, the solo pod, which was insane. The movies or the list of movies that I want to watch from every year that I've been alive. So I watched this, which was my 2026 film. So thank you, Keith, for suggesting it. But then I did watch Barton Fink. It's a 1991 Coen Brothers movie with John Turturro and John Goodman. So they're in Big Lebowski together, and that's a second collaboration. It's a story about a writer who has writer's block, who goes from plays to Hollywood, and it just is kind of this dive into his mind. And John Goodman was just wonderful. I mean, he has been such a joy for so long in our lives. It'll be sad once we see him go, and I think we should give him the respect that he deserves while he's still alive. John Goodman is unbelievable. Cheers.
I'll drink to John Goodman.
That's funny. I was also thinking about John Goodman today because my son was watching Monsters Inc. and I was thinking, fucking John Goodman, one of the fucking best out there. One of my favorite actors ever. Love that. Lucas, what have you been watching?
Well, it's been a minute since I've been on the pod, so I don't even know what I've talked about having watched recently or not. But one I don't think I've talked about is Two for the Money.
No. Is that the one with Al Pacino?
Al Pacino and Matthew McConaughey, they run like a tout service. So they're like giving people bets. And Matthew McConaughey is like a former college football player. So he's like this savant at picking bets, but then he gets very bad at picking bets. And like, they're like leading people into destitute, poverty because their picks go so bad, and all kinds of stuff. It's a fun one. It's a deep dive into some degenerate gambling
nice
type movie. It's quite the ride. Pretty fun one. I also watched the first Mortal Kombat, not the first like the 1995 Mortal Kombat, the 2021 that is the first one of these modern ones, which Mortal Kombat 2 just came out. Gotta say, pretty fucking sweet. As somebody who has played hundreds of hours of Mortal Kombat video games, it's easy to like the movies. There is one beef that I have with it, which is that the main character is just like a created character for the movie. He's not from a video game.
I think you like that because then you can get introduced to all the different characters and they can all have their own fun personalities, right?
So I mean, the reason they did it, I guess, was because they wanted people to be able to like grab onto this movie or this character in this movie and like be attached to him rather than being attached to all of the characters who, or many of them are going to die. But they do a really cool job of like making it, doing a lot of callbacks from the video games, which is like there's not a lot of story in the video games. It's you move your way up the rankings by fighting the guys, right? And
they say get over here.
Yeah. So it's a pretty cool movie. I'm definitely excited to see the second one. And then I've been getting down on some Star Wars stuff, which May the 4th got me, I always get in a Star Wars mood. Realized I had not watched the second season of Andor. So I'm 2 or 3 episodes, maybe like 3 or 4 episodes into season 2 of Andor. And then I did actually start the animated series Maul, which is kind of cool. It's kind of dumb, and I feel kind of dumb while I'm watching it, but I enjoy it, so I'm going to keep watching it.
What a perfect segue into what I've been watching. I believe I mentioned maybe the last pod that I've been itching to find something to watch lately because I just, I need something new to watch when my wife and children are passed out and I'm the only one awake. That's when I watch my own shit. I just haven't found anything, but I think the May the 4th discussion, Lucas, we texted about May the 4th, spurred me. So I decided to start the, I don't even know what we would call it, the movies, the anthology from episode 1. The saga.
Yeah. From
episode 1 all the way on. I am almost done with episode 8.
Oh, wow.
I've made quick progress.
Yeah, it's easy to walk through them when you do it. Yeah.
I've seen them fucking tens of times. Couple takeaways. First of all,
Well, real quick, did you do the spin-offs?
I didn't do I thought about fitting in Rogue One.
Okay.
I am gonna watch Andor next. That's
Yeah.
one my wife have wanted to watch with me, and she always falls asleep. I'm just gonna watch it on my own.
When you're doing the movies, if you want to mix in the spin-offs, I feel like it's Rogue One and then maybe Solo, but Solo's not
Yeah, I don't
necessary.
Yeah, I thought about Rogue One, but I didn't do it. I watched Rogue One a few months ago though, so I'll count that.
Yeah. Okay.
Anyway.
Anyways,
Couple takeaways. First of all, the prequels that have been bashed forever,
yeah,
they are thoroughly underrated. They hold up so much better today than they did when they first came out, especially Revenge of the Sith.
Which one's that one? Is that the third one?
that's episode 3.
That's episode 3, and
I've seen that one in 20 years.
Sick.
It's good.
And
I also think Phantom Menace is sneaky.
Phantom Menace is sick too.
Sneaky good.
One of my beefs early on, when the prequels first came out and through the years, was Hayden Christensen as Anakin Skywalker, aka Darth Vader. He does actually a pretty damn good job.
He does.
It really is pretty.
He has the proper like tempo and cadence to the way he speaks.
Yeah.
So then when you watch the originals, the 4 through 6, you're like, oh fuck, he talks the same still.
Yeah. And it does do a good job of the transformation of how he becomes Darth Vader. Now, on the other end, I think the last time I watched the new ones, episode 7, 8, and 9, I gave him more credit. I'm just this rewatch, I'm thoroughly disappointed.
They're pretty not great.
They're not great. There's a lot of things that I just don't like about them.
Yeah.
A lot of misused characters. The storylines are just not good. They completely botch the use of the Force. I mean, some of the stuff that they do in these movies, it's like, where did this come from? The Force is obviously a huge power, and if you can harness it, great. But there's way too much. When Leia gets fucking blown up out of the ship and fucking
comes back into the ship,
it's like, what are we doing here?
Yeah.
And then the whole thing, Rey just finding powers and like.
I feel like seven's fine.
7's fine.
8's a tough.
8's terrible.
8's a tough scene.
It's not,
9 is there's parts of 9 that I enjoy.
I've always
there's parts that are very bad
with 9, and the biggest beef is, I mean, the one that everyone agrees with is that Palpatine dies, right? But here we go. He has a whole clone army that Vader apparently knew about, and he knew it. It's just.
Yeah. What are we doing? Yeah,
I haven't gotten to it yet. I'm going to. It's just not. They're not great, and it's pretty disappointing. But anyway, so Lucas, I'm glad you're here for that because
what's great about the Star Wars world is, Disney is in a way like bastardizing it by like just pumping out so goddamn much Star Wars content, but like some of it's really cool. Like the Andor shit, it's fucking cool. Mandalorian, pretty cool.
Very excited for
when you explore some of the like deeper, darker things that were going on within the galaxy while the Empire was in power. Like that shit actually is pretty cool. Andor rules. Andor's so good.
Yeah, so I'm gonna watch Andor. I'm very excited for the Mandalorian and Grogu. Although I'm a little worried about it.
I expect it to be terrible, but I'm gonna go see it. I'm very excited for it. So.
Yeah, I'm very excited for it. I'm definitely gonna see it in theaters. So yeah, on my Star Wars kick, probably be on that for a bit because I am gonna watch Andor. But all right, boys, on to the movie. Unless anyone has any other topics that they want to get to.
Nope, let's do it.
All right, we are reviewing Send Help, 2026 movie. Directed by Sam Raimi, starring Rachel McAdams and Dylan O'Brien. Runtime 1 hour and 53 minutes. This is going to be a very quick plot synopsis. We're going to get into all the main shit here. But basically, Rachel McAdams plays a woman. Linda Linney is her name. She works for this big company. We get introduced to her. She is basically the most socially awkward I don't want to call it grotesque, but kind of very off-putting person. No one likes her. She's very good at her job, but nobody fucking likes her because she's just fucking weird. She has a bird that she lives with who is the only person that she talks to.
Yeah, I feel like a bird lady is definitely worse than a cat lady, right?
Bird lady is up there with cat lady. It's probably worse, but it's a
Bird,
push.
bird lady's tough.
Bird lady's real tough look. And so she works for this company. The owner of the company died. His son is taking over. He's played by Dylan O'Brien. And so the father was supposed to be promoting Rachel McAdams. She thinks the son is going to hold to that word and promote her. He ends up promoting a dickhead ahead of her who knows nothing. But he throws her a bone on the advice of one of the higher ups in the company, and takes her on a trip to Bangkok to finalize a merger with another company. So they're on a private plane on their way to Bangkok. The plane crashes. The two of them get stuck on an island together. Another background on Linda: she is a survivalist. Tried out for Survivor, loves watching Survivor. She has survival books. Basically, on their time on the island, the tables turn, and she becomes the boss. And the whole movie is basically the tit for tat of these two enemies working together / against each other for survival. Linda wants to stay on the island because she's loving her life being a survivalist, and the other guy wants to get the fuck off and get back to his fucking beautiful life. Lots of twists and turns. That's the fucking plot. Anything I missed? Anything you guys want to add?
No, I think you love it. I think Rachel McAdams, just grotesque is almost the right word to describe her. I mean, you kind of avoided it, but at the beginning, they do such a good job of just making her shaggy and just brutal.
Yeah, it was almost a little bit, it almost took me out of it a little bit, I will admit, how off-putting and gross she was, because Rachel McAdams is not off-putting and gross.
But we're going to talk about that.
She's wonderful. And in this, yeah, they really lean into it. You know, the tuna fish on the face, and the just what she's wearing and her hair, and just how much her coworkers don't enjoy even speaking with her at all. Like it's a little over the top, but you know, I understand why they're doing it, obviously.
Yeah. All right. So let's dive into the movie here, and we're gonna start with first things first, as we always do, with Lane Love's first scenes. Lane, break it down for us.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to Lane Love's First Scenes. I did love that I had the old school 20th century logo. You know, that was kind of fun. And we get a very frantic opening. I think it does a very good job of describing Rachel McAdams' character. We get a lot of cuts, a lot of inspirational quotes. You know, we get to see her name and her, you know, cutting her tuna sandwich up like we discussed. She talks very briefly in the opening, but when she does, even when she's talking by herself into her bird, she sounds like a psychopath. Like you kind of mentioned, she's almost brutally awkward. It's like a Michael Scott, but less funny. I enjoy this opening, but it was just a little too much for me. It was an okay opening. We learned a little bit about the character. Again, bird owners, it's a little much, and especially because she ate, like she did the Lady and the Tramp with her bird too, where they're eating on the piece of toast together.
Yeah,
awful.
Don't do that with your bird.
We did see that she did the famous alcoholic pour where she was like, "Oh, I'm gonna do my second glass of wine," and like just absolutely dumped a full second glass, which was fun.
Of white wine too, which is
a move. Yeah, not for me. But we do learn a lot about the character from the beginning, and I think it's a wild ride that we go on. So, I mean, where we start is kind of important, but we just go to so many different places with Rachel McAdams' character. That was a fine opening.
You did miss, I think, the most important part of the opening, where
Hit me with it.
she does a report and hands it off
Oh,
to the guy in the fucking suit with suspenders and the tie, and thinks she's gonna present this thing to whatever meeting they're in, and he takes the thing, says, "Yeah, I'll give you credit. Your name's right here," and then goes into the meeting, throws her name off, and says that he fucking worked on it. So that's the introduction to, like, this is where she is in the company. She does all the grunt work. Someone else is taking the credit.
and none of the
You have
credit.
you have a number rating on that, Mr. Good?
Let's go 6. 6.5, maybe.
I agree with that.
So what I kind of, I don't know, what I gathered from the opening that I thought was a persistent theme throughout like the first half of the movie was it was all just very, if it all felt very forced and cliche and
Yeah, cliche and
it
predictable.
was very cliche and predictable, right? And it was really in the first, up until the jet crash, I was just like, what are we doing? Like, this is dopey. Like, yeah, it's like, oh yeah, your name's right here on a sticky note. It's like, okay, obviously he's gonna take the sticky note off and throw it in. She's gonna see him throw it away, and he's gonna take the credit. And okay, here comes the guy, and he's gonna big league her, and she thinks that he's in love with her, and oh yeah, and then here comes the fiance, and it was just, and then even like when she's at home, and you said, she's pouring the wine, and then she sits down, and she's like, oh, it's almost time, and she turns it on, and it's welcome to Survivor. It's like, that's not how TVs turn on. You don't just turn on your TV and it's on the show at the exact time that you like. Either you got cable or you got streamers. You got to open the app. Like, you don't just turn it on. It's like, hey, welcome to Survivor, Jeff Probst. Like, it's not how this is all very terrible. I don't know. The beginning of the movie I was touch and go, I will say.
And I agree with all of that. I think that they went over the top with everything because the meat and potatoes, the real movie is after the plane crash when they're on the island, but they had to set all of that up by showing you what life is like in this office. They have to show that the fucking owner's son is a fucking dickhead, that Rachel McAdams is the very off-putting girl who's really smart, but no one fucking takes her seriously because she's grotesque.
Yeah.
So they kind of had to go over the top to set up what was to come.
Which I agree with and I understand. And as I got into the movie, I forgave how cliche and dumb and just forced it all really felt. I will say, I won't step on the character draft yet.
Let's talk about the character draft, because there's basically 2 characters. There's more, but this movie is basically 2 characters. Tough. Do we want to still do a character draft?
I think we can make it happen. Right. Yeah,
let's do it. Lucas, get your number generator on, and let's do a draft.
All right, we got it.
Lane, pick a
number. I'll do number 7.
I will go with number 15.
22.
It is 25. So it'll be Future, it'll be me, it'll be Lane. Lane will pick twice, which I think is actually beneficial here on this very shallow character pool.
Yeah, and because it's a shallow character pool, I'm going to make the obvious first choice, Rachel McAdams. I think the main thing that I want to say, and we've kind of touched on it, is we know Rachel McAdams as a good-looking, attractive actress. She's in The Notebook. She's in Mean Girls as the main. I can't remember her character name, which is ridiculous.
Regina George.
Yeah.
Regina George. And so to have Rachel McAdams as this like off-putting woman is pretty wild. So I would like to do a deeper dive a little bit later, but she did a very good job, and the movie did a very good job of making her look not like Rachel McAdams at the beginning for sure. But I think she did excellent through this movie. We'll talk about it more later, but that's my number 1 pick.
It's funny because even as the grossest person they can make, you're like, that chick's still pretty hot.
Yes.
All right, I will take, I guess, the next obvious choice, which is our guy Bradley. Not in that he's a character who's likable, but that he is a good character in how unlikable he is.
Yeah.
He is just, the douchiest guy you could possibly imagine knowing, right? He's this Nepo baby kind of a person who got this awesome job because his dad was who his dad was. And then he's just awful. He's just a dick. And even when they, like, after they crash, he's just still being a dick. And it's like, dude, you would be dead and you're just being a dick. And then he kind of goes through this, I don't know, superficial kind of changing, right? You never really believe that he's changed. You always see him eyeing the knife, and you always know there's something deeper going on there. You never really believe that he's changed. But he is interesting because I feel like there were times in the movie where I did want to root for him. I guess we could talk about that a little bit more later on, but like, I think that's one of the defining things about this movie to me was like, sometimes it's confusing on who you're supposed to be rooting for, or, just based on who you are, you might root for somebody for, I don't know, that you might not expect to root for. Right. And he did have some times where he almost seemed like redeemable, and then he would just, fucking throw that in your face. Right. So I thought that made him a good character.
Yeah, I think that's obviously the first 2 picks, and then it gets pretty slim. I'm curious to see where you guys are going to go on the back half. I'm going to give you guys some room here. So for my first pick, I am going to go with President David Palmer.
That's why I didn't want to step on the character draft. I was going to say early on, I was really glad to see the president from 24.
Yep. Dennis Haysbert. He was wonderful. I wish we would have gotten more of him. I think that, especially because we get him at the beginning, he's just such a demanding presence. He gets this scene where he's like, hey, smell what's on my hand. He's like, no, yes, no, yes, no. And eventually he does. And then the screen gets the close up on his nose and jumps back all over. He smells it, tuna fish. And that was a fun scene and a fun interaction. And I'm pretty sure that's the last time we see him in the whole movie. And so it's like, what are we doing here with this guy who has so much charisma and so much pizzazz? You need to put him on the screen more, and I think that they failed in doing so. But I will pick him because I loved him so much.
It was a shame that he wasn't utilized more. I was very excited to see him on my television.
Absolutely. For my next pick, I'm going to go Sweetie the bird.
You son of a bitch.
pretty impressive. Anytime you can see a bird acting, they did the wing flutter again. Got to get closer with Rachel McAdams than any of us ever will. So congratulations to that bird. But hell of a performance. Not obnoxious like some other birds in movies, but just kind of a chill, casual bird. Not a lot of squawking.
What other birds are obnoxious in movies?
I think like Dumb and Dumber. That was a loud bird.
This bird didn't lose its head. So that's good for that bird. Man, Keith, it's gonna get actually. You got some choices. I'm gonna take the boat driver guy. I don't know. He's kind of funny.
On my list.
Yeah, boat captain. That's he's credited as boat captain. That's all he was. He was, he was funny.
Yeah,
he got smashed over the head with a rock. That sucks.
Poor bastard, just trying to save lives, and he ends up dying.
Yeah.
I'm gonna even go off more of the beaten path because there's so few characters in this movie. I'm going to take the owner, the Wall Street hedge fund billionaire who owns the house on the island that we discover at the end of the movie, because it must be real fucking nice to have a house on a remote island off the coast of Thailand somewhere.
Yeah.
And it looked like a pretty fucking sick house. So good for him. he's probably not a very likable person in real life. But yeah, good for him. And we'll get to that house later on.
Sure.
Not our easiest character draft, but I think we did pretty well there, boys.
It's a pretty tough one. There's really two characters that matter.
Yeah, there's
So,
two
yeah.
characters. So let's fucking talk about it. We talked about the beginning. Let's get to the fucking meat and potatoes and the real story here. So they crash on this island, and it's just the two of them, and fucking Linda's survivalist instincts just fucking kick in, right? She's immediately fucking climbing on trees, cutting down branches. She sets up the fucking coconuts with the leaves that flow in so that she has water.
Yeah.
She stations the what's this?
Which
fucking-
hold on, I want to talk about this.
Go ahead, please do.
It was raining pretty hard. I feel
Yeah.
like you just put some bowls out and they fill up without the leaves.
Well, I'm sure that there's a theory, some kind of scientific reason why you put the leaves there.
I think if it were raining less hard, or like, you know, I don't know, you were trying to capture it from like, I don't know, it was raining so hard.
Sure, but in that situation, you never be like, "Oh man, I have too much water. Let me go ahead and."
I suppose I
Yeah.
just didn't think the leaf little shoot, you know, the ramp was necessary. But
If I
but
ever,
to your point, it just does prove that she knows all the tricks, right? She's a Survivor, the TV show, you know, fanatic. She clearly like she knows that was cool. Where I liked what they did, where they're on the plane and they have the guys making fun of her Survivor tryout video. Because I don't know if you guys know anybody who's made Survivor tryout videos. I do. Most people in my family have made a Survivor tryout video.
you have to be like that. I mean, that's
yeah,
how you
right.
get picked.
Yeah, you got to be a character. You got to be
Yeah.
interesting and
Not
like
putting you on TV if you're not a fucking character.
100%. And like she calls out all the things though in her video, like there are 3 ways to make fire. I know all 3. Like, right, like, and so yeah, immediately she's making fire. She's tying up, you know, grass as like ropes and doing all the tricks, and it's pretty sweet. Pretty
Yeah.
impressive.
So our what is his name? I can't even remember it.
Bradley.
Bradley. Oh, Bradley. So he's got a wound on his leg. She gets him laid up, fixed up. I think the thing that stood out is like her enthusiasm to be helping him and to
We
be
get a lot of Rachel McAdams like whoop, like she was doing a lot of screeching and like hooping and hollering.
She was
and she's,
excited,
like,
man. She got the
very
conch.
excited. She
Yeah.
got the con. Yeah, she's
I
very
found a
excited to
conch.
be there. She's very motherly towards Bradley. It's a very good environment from her. You know, compared to what she was living in, it's almost instant when they got off the plane that she was the queen of the coast, absolutely in her zone.
So the next significant scene, and I have a question for you guys based on this scene. Could you take down a killer boar?
No. Not
Okay,
a
hold on.
chance.
So I think if you have a wooden spear, which is not too hard to make,
Nope.
and you do the thing where you rest it against a piece of wood, you antagonize the boar, throw some rocks at it, you know, get it aggressive. You only have to get one, not 40 to 50 feral hogs, but
Right.
one
You would
boar.
need an AR-15 in that
Yeah.
case.
Yeah.
But yeah.
You throw a rock at it, you get it aggressive, and then you do the thing where it charges you and you put it against a rock and you know, they do it in the movie. I think that's a great way to get a boar.
I think you're underestimating how hard it is to actually slay a real fucking boar.
I don't think there's any goddamn chance I could kill a boar with just a stick. No.
No,
Nope.
no chance in hell.
Also, this boar was particularly aggressive
CG, yeah.
and very CGI. The absolutely horrific CGI. It was pretty tough. As was the plane crash. both really tough, bad CGI scenes. That boar was very vicious, very wild. But I think the thing that you would underestimate about killing a feral hog, a wild boar, is just the sheer like weight of
Oh,
them,
yeah.
right? They're big,
They're
big
stout.
boys, stout, dude. They're dense. They're fast and they're mean, and they do got those fucking little horns. I mean, they took down a Baratheon for Christ's sake, you know?
So
Yeah,
I
where's my
actually
flag?
Yeah,
we have
that's right.
a friend whose family owned a pig for a while, and I went and met this pig, and I don't know how the compared to like a boar, but like when I saw the size of that thing, I was like, holy fuck, dude.
That's some girth, huh?
If
Yeah,
you've never like seen a pig in person, like you think of pigs, you think of fucking like
Babe, pig in a city.
Pig.
yeah, like little pigs
rolling around in the mud.
Those motherfuckers are fucking huge. They are
They're tanks.
stout. They are thick.
They're
and
smart.
They're
They're
smart.
feeding
They're
us.
vicious. It's gonna be real fucking hard to take it down unless you just have a fucking gun and can pop it.
Right, which did make the scene very cool because she starts off by doing the jump out of the tree, slam it in his back thing, and then she does the like the thing that Lane's talking about, to let it run into the spike, which, whew, man, the whole thing was crazy, and then it didn't even die.
It was like it gets
bleeding.
bloody and then it gets vomit. It gets like
Right.
toxic yellow vomit, just like in her face or blood. It's just like Jesus. There's
Yeah.
a few times in this movie where it's like, holy shit, guys! It was at like an 8 as far as intensity, and then they definitely turned it up to a 9,
Right.
9.5, 10.
I feel like that's a Sam Raimi thing, right? That's what he loves to do. Especially this scene, the very bloody. The other one would be the puking after she gets poisoned. There's a lot of that going on. Yeah, it's gross.
Right. So that's the next kind of part I want to get to. So she's taking care of Bradley, and she's making a home of where they're at. He wants to go home. He wants her to go get help, all this stuff. But she's just like excited to be fucking surviving. She had seen a boat. She's like, no, not yet. We're not going home yet.
Crazy.
And then she's nursing him back to health. She gets the boar. She feeds. They laugh. I brought home the bacon. Ha 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 ha. So now it's leading to this point where it's like these two. It feels like they're building a relationship, possibly romantic. They're building a relationship. She shows him the trail. She teaches him how to spot the poisonous berries. Rubbing it on your skin, if it gives a reaction, that's a very noteworthy. I'm going to put that in the old noggin if I ever get stranded on a fucking island. And so that seems like everything's going well. And then he offers to cook her dinner. And then, of course, she's eating. She gets woozy. She fucking falls in, and he goes and scrambles and grabs his fucking raft and goes into the ocean, and he's going to fucking raft out of there. And wouldn't you know it, that raft doesn't last very long.
It was a terrible plan. What a terrible plan.
Of course it was. Of course it was a terrible plan. But did you believe for a little bit there that like maybe there is something happening here between the two of them?
Are we talking sexually? Because sexually, I think
Yes.
there's definitely something between the two of them.
Sexually
It was the only thing I thought about the whole movie is when these two get a bang.
They gotta bang. If you're on a
Right.
desert island with someone for a month, I mean, you're banging. I mean, Rachel McAdams, especially. Come on, and there
Especially
is a scene where
'cause
she's like checking him out.
Yeah,
You know,
and she
she's-
gets instantly hotter.
Oh,
yeah.
she lets her hair
Right.
down.
Yeah,
She gets very comfortable, as you
Yeah.
what you would say.
right.
and-
She's not revolting anymore. She's like, yeah, which is part of like if you're living on a deserted island, everybody's disheveled, right? So her disheveledness is hidden, and she's immediately hot. So yeah,
Yeah.
So
So,
did you
I thought it was
expect
kind of
that he was
interesting
gonna
that they
turn?
avoided that. Sorry, what's up?
Did you expect that he was going to turn on her that quickly?
I expected he was going to get turned on by her that quickly. Yeah.
Mhm. Well, you always knew because he's always eyeing the knife,
Yeah.
right? Which I think is a very important
Let's
point.
talk about the
I'm-
knife. Get into it,
yeah.
Lucas.
Yeah, so I mean, I don't know. We've talked about it many times on this podcast. I'm not a try to predictor the movie guy. I kind of just take what the movie's given me and I roll with it. In retrospect, the knife is so obvious. It gives away a lot of stuff. She even, says it to him outright in the movie. Like, how would a knife wash up on the shore? It's like, oh yeah, you're right. It's a fucking metal knife. It would just sink. It wouldn't wash up on shore. Like, how would a knife have washed up on shore? So like that's one kind of giveaway that something deeper is happening, that she has the knife at all. But then it's this power symbol, right? It is the one object that is defining the power dynamic. Ooh, yikes. Defining the power dynamic between these two, right? Whoever holds the knife is in charge.
Power.
Yeah. And he's always eyeing it. She's kind of wielding it, kind of, showcasing it, using it to do all the work and making him, do things the hard way kind of thing. So the knife is a very just important. The knife would have been a good character to draft.
It would have been a great character draft. I didn't even like, and I'm usually the one that tries to make guesses over where things are going in movies. The knife wasn't the thing that I was suspicious of. It was when they were on the hike and there was the two rocks that make an X, and she told him, don't go over there. It's all poison ivy, all this, like, don't. That's when I knew, like, she definitely found something over there that she does not want him to see. I thought that's where she saw the boat, which I think is where she did see the boat. Come to find out later, that's where she got the knife. So yeah, I didn't put the knife. Lane, do you have any thoughts on the knife?
I just think the fact that, when we see the big X rocks, it's very obvious that, because we never see her with the berries, the poisonous berries. If we would have at least gotten a hint of, hey, maybe she gets into some brush and she gets some kind of thing on her skin, some hint that hey, maybe there actually are some poisonous berries over there, but we don't get any of that. We just get her word for it. And obviously we know that there's going to be something over there. And of course, this is big, badass house. And I just wish there was some more twists and turns and angles to it. It's just like no one was living there. They cut the cameras. They had an answer for everything when they could have used the fact that they found this kick-ass mansion to make the story more interesting and more in depth than just these two kind of going head to head.
See, I disagree there. Because the whole point of the story is that she is the survivalist and he's basically relying on her to figure out. He's learning from her, learning how to survive, but he's also trying to figure out how he can get off this fucking island by learning from her. That's why he builds the raft. And after that all happens, she takes him and gives him a octopus that paralyzes him. And she even says, I didn't teach you the actual way that you should have done that to build the raft. Ha ha ha. Which comes to our next scene that I want to talk about. So he's paralyzed from eating this octopus. And she has the knife and talks about how the Egyptians used to cut off their slaves' nuts. And it looks like she's cutting off his nuts and she's actually killing a rat. But it's a warning, like, next time you're losing your fucking nuts. Did you think that the nuts were actually getting cut off there?
I did. I thought we were getting way darker. I thought this movie was about to get real gross and like real Sam Raimi-y and just gnarly. I'm glad it didn't, but I thought that's where we were going. I thought this was about to get real off the rails.
Me too. So shout out to the movie where they throw something at you and you're just along for the ride, right? And once they show you that it is the rat, you're like, okay, obviously they're not going to cut the guy's dick off in a movie. But once they, blasted him with his own blood, or what we think is his own blood, it's like, holy shit, they're really kind of going above and beyond with this movie, with the grotesque. You know, we kind of mentioned the boar getting killed, the vomit. Like, there's just so much stuff that Sam Raimi really pushes the boundaries on and really makes it visceral and in the moment and gross. And I think that's another example of that. So it was fun, and I enjoyed that moment for sure.
It was a similar turning point for me, like in Wuthering Heights, when we talked about when Jacob Elordi marries the sister, and you think that shit's gonna get real fucking dark and twisted, which it kind of does, but it doesn't get fully. I thought that, like, oh, she's gonna cut off his nuts, and now he's gonna be like her fucking slave.
That's where I thought
Really,
we were going.
really
Yeah,
dark, and it did not go that far.
right.
Yeah,
Going
they made
back
it more
to-
fun.
Yeah, going back to the sexual nature of it all. You know, this scene kind of has some of that where it's like, oh man, what is he going to be like? Yeah, like this basically sex slave pet of hers now, because he's going to be terrified that, well, he's first of all going to not have any nuts, and he's going to be terrified that she could paralyze him at any moment. Going back to the sexual tension of the whole thing, there's a scene where they get drunk
Mm-hmm.
off of the like fruit wine that she makes. Do you guys think they banged that night?
You would hope.
I thought they were
Because
going to.
Because when she wakes up, she's laying on the sand, you know? And I don't know if you guys saw that, but there's two handprints like on either side of her where she's laying.
Hmm.
And there's like footprints as well, but there was clearly like two handprints, you know, as if someone were straddling another person, kind of a situation. And I don't know, they never explored that any deeper, got into anything on that, but
Yeah.
I was wondering whether you guys thought they banged that night. I think they did.
I thought they were going to. They may have. The more important part of that drunken wine night, though,
It's pretty brutal.
she talks about when she was married
Mm.
and her husband died. He was a drunk. He beat her. And the one night where she always hid his keys when he was drinking, and the one night that she finally gave his keys back, he crashed and died, which comes back later a bit.
Once they're in the house, right?
Yeah.
Wasn't that when it was when he accuses her of?
They weren't at the house yet. It was after he finds his fiance's hands.
Oh, right. Before they run into the jungle and have a very vicious fight. Yeah.
So obviously the fiance comes and finds him, and that's where the boat captain comes in. Finds Linda, and Linda's leading them back to camp to go meet Bradley. And there was the one spot on the trail where Linda fell and almost died because the ground gave out, and she is eyeing that spot. She purposely kind of stops, ties her shoes to make them go around so that the fiance slips. At the time, we didn't know what happened, but we know that the fiance and the boat captain died. Turns out
We knew what happened.
We knew what happened. Linda killed them. They didn't just go down. She beat him over the head with a rock, and they died. So then Bradley finds his fiance's, and now this is after the initial scene where he tried to escape. He's kind of back working with her, but they're definitely a combative. And then he finds the hand with the ring on it, and that leads to our final real scene here, where they're just fighting to the fucking death. And that is when he comes up on the mansion, and she's talking to him through the security cameras.
Yep. Somehow she has like a whole layout where she knows exactly where he is, which is a fun thing that we see in movies where someone sitting at a computer has like 6 monitors, like, I know where you are. Usually that's pretty fun. But in this, it just kind of seemed out of place and a little weird. But, you know, whatever. It's still halfway.
Yeah, you do have to like, you know, imagine how much time they've been on this island and how much time we have, things have been happening that we haven't
Yeah.
seen,
For sure.
right? And how much exploring she's done off camera, right? So like that is a leap you have to make in your brain to understand, like, oh shit, she's actually,
But she's also sewing hats, so she's got time on her hands. You know what I
right?
mean?
Like, and we know that she's like several steps ahead of him, but like, oh no, in reality, she's like dozens of steps ahead. She's hundreds of steps ahead, scores of steps ahead of this guy as far as what she's figured out on this island, what she's doing, and what she's got cooking. He is way out of his element.
Would it have been more impactful if we had seen her discover the house on camera?
Now that's a fun question.
Because if we had seen her find the house before, right, and she goes in and she finds the knife, she finds all the food, she finds wine, she's eating, drinking, and now for a portion of the movie, we know that she has this thing she's hiding.
Yeah. So like maybe she's not so successful like surviving, and she's like super hungry, and she stumbles upon this, and she's like, I got the decision. Okay, do I feed myself and also him, or do I feed just myself?
Because
that's the whole thing, right? Is her internal struggle of like, my life is better on this island than not, right? And that's the whole thing, is like, how long do I keep this going before I save us, or do I save us at all? Do I stay here forever? And so if she had been actually struggling at surviving and then lucked out by finding this place and then has all this kind of like this secret, cheat code, that would have been fun. Yeah. I like that, boys. I think that might be a better movie.
Yep. There's so many better movies in this movie.
Right.
And they just went with a lot of bad decisions.
They weren't the best decisions.
Okay, but while we're kind of getting to the climax here, I just want to talk about the fight, because he's obviously hobbling around. It gets pretty grotesque, similar to the warthogs. There's a lot of things that we mentioned where it gets kind of nasty.
The eye gouge is rough.
Yeah, the eye gouge specifically, where he puts his thumb in and just presses harder than anyone would like to get pressed on in their eye.
You don't want that to happen.
And she doesn't lose it, but it was just close enough. And she's bleeding out of her eye, crying blood. It's just a very tense, brutal fight at the end. And I thought it was really fun. And like you said, she does kind of have the cameras and the microphone where she is kind of taking advantage of the situation. And there's more that could have been done with that. But when you get a little gross and get a little wild, it's hard not to be entertained, right?
Yeah,
it was wildly entertaining, that fight.
Yeah, it was amazing.
The stab in the side with the knife in the
when she bites his shoulder and takes a chunk out and spits in his face. Oh my fucking Lord.
Yeah, anytime people are resorting to just biting each other, it's a desperate fight.
Oh yeah, that's fight to the death, right?
Because like if you're fighting to the death, biting is high on the list of moves that you want to use.
Yeah.
Because
she bit off he was wearing his fiance's engagement ring on his pinky, and she bites it off and then shows him the ring.
Swallows it right in his face.
Oh, good Lord almighty.
Ugh. Yeah, she gets real psycho. That's the thing, is like she gets too psycho.
What would have been really funny is later.
Too psycho though.
I wish we had a scene later on, because obviously it finishes with her, right, being like this famous survivor of a crash. She's playing celebrity golf or whatever. It would have been really interesting if she would have been wearing that ring.
Mm-hmm. That'd be fun.
Which would have meant that she'd had to shit it out and go through her own shit to retrieve it. That would have been fun.
Expecting that. I was expecting that to come at some point.
Yeah, I would have enjoyed that.
Yeah, but and then go ahead, Lane.
I was just going to say, I mean, while Luke mentioned it, I think that the fact that it ends with her getting away with it is a fun twist. There's a lot of interesting twists throughout the movie, and I didn't like a lot of them. But to see it, I mean, because we know when these two people are on the island, about 15, 20 minutes in, we know they're not both going to get off and it's never going to be happily ever after. They're going at it and they're so combative. One of them has to die. And so the way that they die is brutal. You know, like she's half bloody face, half mud face. She's holding him at shotgun. It does get weird. She like confesses her love and he confesses his love in order to get out because he's kind of, trying to, he's got a bull horn that he took behind her back. It got kind of weird. But to end with her being a successful survivor, playing golf and writing a book and the book going into a movie, that's kind of fun because she's like almost like a horror villain out there in the world where, everyone admires her, but she's also incredibly dark and twisted. So I like that. I just didn't love how we got there.
If you get stranded on a desert island with basically your enemy, it's going to get pretty fucking rough.
Dark and twisted.
It's going to get pretty dark and twisted. The only other question I have on the final scene is because she's holding the shotgun and then he takes it from her, but he can't fucking shoot it. And then it ends with her hitting him over the head. But before, he calls her the fucking dumb accountant, whatever. And she says strategy and planning. Did she know that the shotgun didn't have any shells?
I think so.
No, it didn't have any bullets, and so when he
I think so, because I still think at the end of the day, her ultimate goal was to stay on this island forever, with holding this power over this guy, because she's like in love with him, right? And she loves this life. So I don't think she ever intended on shooting and killing him. I think it was an intimidation tactic.
Yeah, it's the first time in her life that she has had control and power. Right. Over somebody,
and she knew that like this dude who owns this house is not going to be here very often. We can use this to our advantage.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I just watched the eye gouging scene. It's so fucking brutal, man.
That's awful.
It's tough.
Yeah, they really go for it. But there's a lot of things they do that's pretty graphic, pretty fun.
Yeah.
They just they try and have some fun with it.
One thing they didn't do that could have been graphic. They didn't bang.
Bang.
What a missed opportunity.
He did not. All right, one last thing. Rachel McAdams. Unless, Lane, do you have any other topics you want to
No, I'm golden. The fact that she saw the boat and didn't want to be rescued, that's so ridiculous. It's like, I just want to go ahead and throw that out there before we get to my review.
What else did she have? She had nothing to get back to.
Nothing to go back to.
Sure. Okay, and I also do want to mention, hold on, while I'm kind of drunk in here. Triangle of Sadness is a movie that's very similar to this, right? Where they get in a boat accident, they're on an island, and a woman becomes the power dynamic leader. And I thought that movie did it so much better. Where like they do kind of have to bang her to get special rewards, and it was a lot more tense and realistic. And there's a way to do the movie we watched, Send Help, fun. And I think that the way that they went fun was different than the way I would have went fun. Like that skeleton that pops up is like, kind of cheesy horror and like cliche horror. And that's just not the way I would have taken it.
I think what you're saying is a great point, because it's like the movie didn't quite commit to or know what it wanted to be.
Yep.
Right. It could have been really a freaky fucking horror film. It could have got real weird and scary and gross and what off the rails, right? But it chose to not do that, like we talked about with the paralyzed rat killing scene. Like it could have done something different, right? It could have done some things, and it seemed like it kept getting to the edge, and then it walked itself back. And it's like, okay, decide what you are, movie.
Yeah,
either
agree. I almost expected it to be a lot more dark and twisted than it was. And I feel like if it would have gotten more dark and twisted, because like the whole point of the movie is this woman who has been stepped on and degraded her entire life now has the fucking power, and I feel like she didn't actually fully turn the tables the way that she could have. Which that's part of the character, right? It's this nice, super duper nice woman, right? And she continues to have that super nice, forgiving, understanding persona throughout the movie. But it would have been more interesting and maybe more fun if it had been a little more dark and twisted. All right, I have one question. Rachel McAdams, overrated, underrated, or properly rated in the zeitgeist?
I'm going to go out and say properly rated. Do I consider Rachel McAdams to be a like Academy Award winning? Every time I see her, I'm on the edge of my seat. Like, I'll see her in March when it's award season. No, I don't see her there. Right? We've never seen that from her. I know her from Wedding Crashers and this and Mean Girls, and there's that movie Red Eye, which is kind of similar to this with Cillian Murphy. There's just a lot of, I mean, I love Wedding Crashers, but there's a lot of B movies, a lot of B plus movies that she's in, and I've never really seen her. This is the most out there thing I've seen from her, but I've never seen her kind of do a legit drama role where she could potentially be nominated for Best Actress. And I'd love to see if she has the chops, because at least in this, she does a pretty good job of being this wild maniac. But let's see that in maybe something more serious.
Lucas?
I think Lane's probably right that properly rated is the right answer, but it feels a little bit cop-outy. I don't think I can say that she's overrated, because I think she's excellent every time we see her. I'm going through the filmography. She's not in as much as you would expect. She's only really got like 43 actress credits on IMDb, which is not a lot for somebody like her, because a lot of these are the early days where she wasn't
TV
anybody.
shorts and
Yeah, exactly. So, but then if you look through it, like a lot of these are really good movies, but I don't necessarily know that I like super remember her in them. I would lean towards the underrated, because every time we see her, she's awesome. And like Lane's saying, I think if we were able to see her do something a little bit more heavy, a little more gravitas, I think she would knock it out of the park. So I would say she's properly rated, leaning towards underrated.
All right, boys. Well, I'm going underrated. Underrated. I think obviously we know her, Regina George. I had forgot about Wedding Crashers. Thank you, Lane, for one of my favorite movies ever, and somehow I forgot.
And Spotlight,
also,
which is a movie I think is tremendous.
It's fantastic.
Yep.
Fantastic. Although her character in that movie isn't probably the best, which is
right. Again, it's like she's in all these really good movies, but she's not the focal point.
Yeah. But she is also in a season of True Detective. I think a very
not the focal point.
She's one of the focal. She's one of
three. Yeah.
But not the.
I think that season of True Detective was overly criticized because of the expectations from the first season.
The first one was just
I still thought it was a really good season of TV. She has comedic chops. She was in Game Night. Have you seen Game Night?
I've not
seen that one.
It's a fucking good. It's a funny movie, and she's very good in that. Very funny in that. Obviously, The Notebook.
Yeah, that's true.
Really good.
That's a huge one. I think she's underrated. I think,
really good.
She showed some chops in this one by being the grotesque woman, the crazy ass on the island. So I'm giving her an underrated. I like Rachel McAdams.
I will say it is kind of funny that the last two movies we've done back to back were this and what even was the name of that movie we did last week? Apex. Kind of swimming in the same waters. 2 movies in a row.
Yep.
And I would say who was our girl in that one last week?
Charlize Theron.
Yeah. I don't know. What do we think?
Charlize
Who,
Theron
who
or
did?
Rachel McAdams?
Yeah, who did it best in these two movies?
I mean, they're doing different things, but I like Charlize Theron in The Wilderness more than I like Rachel McAdams in The Wilderness.
Okay.
I didn't
I
watch
think
Apex. I didn't get to it.
I think
You're fine.
Rachel
Don't watch
McAdams
it.
is taking more of a chance, right? She's doing more.
Getting more
For
out of
sure.
her element.
Charlize was like intentionally very reserved, kind of a character, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I think we're ready to talk money. Keith, unless you got anything else.
Oh, I got nothing else. Let's get to it.
So let's throw it to the money man. Lucas, please make the dollars make sense. Good luck, my friend.
Yeah, no, so this is a movie that was, a normal, typical theatrical release type movie. I actually do remember when this was coming out into theaters and like people going to see it. I was deep into the throes of Academy Award movie watching at this point, and I remember like multiple people that I know being like, "Oh, I'm going to see this movie." I'm like, what are you doing? There's Academy movies to be watching. Why would you go see this movie? But I do know that a lot of people went and saw this movie. Budget, a pretty, I would say pretty conservative, pretty low estimated budget of 40 million. It's really not that much in 2026. Filmed in 2025, whatever. That's really not that much. That's definitely on the lower end, especially for a movie that's like, supposed to be a box office type movie. Opening weekend in the United States and our friends to the north in Canada, which was February 1st, just over 19 million. So just shy of 50% of its budget, which is actually a really good number. To do that on the opening weekend is excellent. And then the gross worldwide box office since inception, $94 million. So just in box office alone, this movie did almost 2.5 its budget, right? Basically 2.5 its budget, little bit more, or no, a little bit less. How's my math? I don't know. It's not good. Anyways, it did good. Now it's on streaming, so it's probably doing some extra numbers with the help of Amazon Prime and all that kind of stuff. So I'm gonna give this a nice let's give it a B+.
Yeah, I can dig it. I mean, it was one of those ones that it had previews, and I was like, man, this is going to be pretty terrible. But it got decent reviews. Like, people were excited about it, and to actually get there and watch it was a journey, and I'm excited to hear what you guys think about it. But before we do that, I think we need to talk about some beers, don't we, Keith?
Oh, we do. We do, because your boy's thirsty. Your boy's thirsty. It's a Saturday night. I want to have a beer, and I want to learn all about this beer. And I'm going to go to my favorite barkeep on the West Coast. I'm going to go learn about this beer from Mr. Lane Good. Take me to the beer corner.
Welcome to Queen of the Coast, West Coast IPA out of Pizza Port Brewery in and not San Diego, technically. I'm going to tell you a little bit about the beer here. This is off of their website itself. This is a bright yet boldly expressive West Coast IPA at 7%. I don't think it's... Oh, yeah, it does say that again. 7%. Brewed in collaboration with our beer buddies at Made West Brewing. Built on a clean malt backbone, it opens with waves of dank Meyer lemon flesh, black currant, and tangerine layered with apricot skin and subtle mango and papaya undertones. The finish is crisp and dry with a gentle touch of piney earthness, delivering modern hop intensity with effortless drinkability. Brewed with CTZ, Cascade Simcoe, Simcoe Dynaboost, Mosaic Simcoe Cryo, and Idaho 7, available in draft and 6-packs starting 4-3. So we got this, in season, pretty hot, pretty fresh, out of Carlsbad, California. I do want to read a little bit about the brewery. You can see here on the screen, this is the brother and sister combination of brewers. In March of 1987, Gina and Vince, a pair of siblings, they bought a struggling pizza place in Solana Beach, again, north of San Diego. They had the free space in the restaurant because it was a bigger building. And he was like, I'm going to start home brewing. And he did such, and it was successful. In 1992, they started growing some reputation on the beer scene. They eventually started to grow and open new locations in 97, in 03, in 08, and then in 2010. So throughout, and 2013. So look at them grow. Throughout the history, they've continued to open up new locations, which is different than what we saw last week or a few weeks ago, where they're just buying a bigger location that has different facilities. So like they're not getting a big canning line or a big bottling line. Obviously, they have that because we're drinking out of cans, but they're opening multiple kind of smaller locations is what it seems like. But overall, they've won 91 medals and awards from the Great American Beer Festival, and they continue to encourage them to create unique and exciting beers over the past what's been 30 years. So cheers to Pizza Port out of, let's say, Solana Beach, northern San Diego. Cheers.
Beautiful.
Cheers.
All
I
right,
hope you guys
boys.
are liking that beer. When you were describing all the things that were in it, you said a lot of words that I don't know, things that I've never heard of.
Yeah, me neither. No, that made me a little suspicious, the amount
Yeah.
of stuff they put in it.
I'm going to say
not
boys,
a German purity beer. I will tell you that much.
We've only been doing this for 128 episodes, so I'm glad that I've taught you something in the beer corner.
Lane, what would you rate this beer?
I really thoroughly enjoyed it. I would love to crack open another one, but unfortunately, it's only in pints, and I cannot commit to a full pint. But I would say that this is an amazing beer. I would say that this is a 9 overall for me. I thoroughly enjoyed the taste, the flavor, the ABV. I would drink this almost anywhere. I'm going to go ahead and give the beer a 9, Mr. Fuchs.
Yeah. It's interesting. I think I'm in a transitional period of my beer drinking. I was a big IPA guy for a long time there, and I think I'm nothing against IPAs, but I think I'm transitioning to a lighter beer guy in my elder age. This was still pretty good, but it's pretty heavy. I think it's funny when beers throw in that they have all these different tastes of mango and this and that, and it's like, it tastes like a beer.
Yeah.
I've said this before. A beer is a beer. It's fine. It's good. I'll definitely. I've got some left. I'll definitely drink them at some point. It's 7.5. It's a good beer.
I can get behind that.
Yeah.
It's funny because as you guys know, I've been drinking way less beer. And one of our friends, family friends, couple friends who we hang out with, like primarily drinks like Coors Light. And it's like, man, Coors Light doesn't sound too bad. I kind of would take a
on that train.
Yeah, it's just like I know what I'm getting, and I know it's not gonna like just tear me to pieces inside.
Well, we've drank so many good light beers on this podcast.
For sure.
Yeah.
I would take all those over a Coors Light, and I would take
Yeah.
A lot of German purity beers and those sorts of things over IPAs or Coors Lights or right.
We got to watch some kind of German
Those are the
movie soon so we
extremes.
can get those beers for you.
Yeah, we
You
get
know
back
what I
in
mean?
Yeah, let's do that.
All right, gentlemen, it's time for America's favorite game. Let's play some rotten guesses. Mr. Good,
Oh,
Go to your
I'm
first
so
all-time,
mad that
go to
you
your
went.
first.
I'm so mad that you went to me first. I think that the critics are going to like this more than the audience. I don't know why. I think they're going to get behind some of the cheesy homage things. I'm going to go ahead and just say 83 for the critics. You know, movies are, I feel like they're a little bit higher now than I would rank them. I'm going to say 83. For the audience, I'm going to say a little bit closer to 70. I'm going to go ahead and say 72. 83, 72.
All right, Lucas.
It's interesting. My instinct tells me to flip the audience and critic scores. I think this is a movie that appeals more to just your everyday kind of guy or gal, you know, going to see a movie in February. Like I said, this movie came out February 1st. We were in the heart of Academy Award season. If like, I just can't imagine spending money to go see this movie when I could be watching, you know, a documentary feature off of Netflix or something. I don't know. So that's tough. I think Lane also makes a good point though that scores have just generally been a lot higher on these than we think that they will be. But I'm gonna stick to my gut. I'm gonna go critical score, the the tomato meter of a 74. I'm gonna go an audience score, the people, the folks, the popcorn meter of a 79. 74, 79.
Damn it. This is the bad part about hosting being last.
It does box you in a little bit when you
box you in, and I'm kind of on the same train as Lucas. I feel like the critics and audience both will be kind of in that 70-ish range to try and, for score purposes, I'm gonna go audience or critics. I'm gonna go 68.
Ooh.
Audience, I will go, although I've been surprised by the audience lately. So maybe, you know what? I'm going to do it. I'm going to go a little higher with the audience. I'm going to say 83 for the audience.
Ooh.
Well, future. I've got the numbers up here.
Please
and I
hit
should
me
have
with it.
listened. I should have listened to what I said in that the scores have just been a lot higher for these newer movies than we expect them to be. These numbers are disgusting. Keith will take the popcorn meter ranking pretty easily. You said 83. It comes in at an 86. 86 for the people.
For the people, 86.
86 for the people. And Lane is correct in that the critics are higher.
Then 86.
By 7%. They gave it a 93.
No.
On 288 critic reviews, we have a 93 certified fresh and over 2,500 verified ratings for the people at an 86. 93, 86.
That is criminal.
That's crazy.
Pretty,
That's fucking crazy. I don't know what we're doing sometimes with these Rotten Tomato scores.
Well, let's go to the rankings that matter. The real scores.
I don't know.
Let's go with
scores.
Lane. I know I know what I expect, but I want to hear what your scores.
I'm curious what you expect.
It's not going to be as high as the critics. I know that.
I just want to say real quick. 90. We almost got to come up with a different game. 93-86. Gladiator, which is my North Star, right, for all things film and movie. In my opinion, it's the greatest movie that's ever been made. Got an 80 from the critics. 13 less than Send Help. And an 87 from the people. That's only one more than Send Help. What are we doing? What are we doing?
That's the thing about Rotten Guesses is you never know. I mean, if we would have guessed what a 93 from the critics,
That's
get the fuck
fucking
out of here.
banana lands.
That
Yeah.
is
Yeah, and that's why it's fun.
Lane.
For me, I'm substantially lower. I liked, similar to Apex, Lucas, I liked the setup, right? Where we get some interesting characters in some interesting situations. We didn't really hit on the plane crash as much as I would have liked. I thought that was a pretty good, intense plane crash, all things considered.
Really bad CGI, but yes, very fun
Mhm.
scene.
Yep. But where the characters go, I liked less and less. I don't understand having the opportunity to get saved on a remote island and not taking it. Like that is just
You
that's
like
a
your life
step.
on where you are.
Yeah, that's a step too far for me, right? And so I thought this movie was borderline bad, but I think that it also did a lot of things really well. I thought it was fun and entertaining with like the boar fight and the eye gouging scene and the kind of the shotgun at the end. I thought it was fun, but I would never ever watch this again. I thought it was an okay movie. I'm going to give it a 6.4. 6.4.
I think what Lane brings up there is an important criteria that maybe we don't apply enough. And that would I ever watch this movie again? Because the answer is unequivocally
No.
no. I would never watch this movie again. And that's not the be all end all of the score, because I mostly enjoyed my time with this movie. I liked it. I thought it was fun. I thought the beginning was real tough to get through. It was just kind of dumb, like I mentioned, like really cliche, but it was just setting up for what the movie was going to be, which was like I understood that for the most part while it was happening, and I wasn't mad about it. Whatever, it just was what it was. And there was a lot of things that happened on the island that I thought were really fun, and then there was a lot of things that I thought that were happening that we could have done better, and the movie just didn't quite know what it wanted to be or what it needed to be. It wasn't really committed to what it should be. I thought it was mostly pretty fun, but it was also very forgettable in a lot of ways. And we come back to, would I ever watch this movie again? No. Am I glad I watched it? Yes. So we kind of have, we land in this spot where it's like it's just an okay movie. We'll give it a 7 flat.
Okay. Yeah, it was fun and it was entertaining, and that's what I look for in movies. It did leave. I did love Rachel McAdams, but it did leave a little bit to be desired. It could have been.
They could have banged.
Could have been something fucking.
They should have banged.
It could have been something fucking wild.
It could have been.
Could have been really fun. It could have been really, really wild and really, really fun. You get two people stranded on the fucking desert island with.
There's so much you can do. Find a monster. Find anything.
Options are unlimited.
Well, just having these two competing characters on an island together for that long, you could have really, really gotten fucking weird and fun with it.
Yeah.
And it just didn't get quite enough. So yeah, I'm kind of in between you two. It was close to being a good movie. It was okay. It was all right. I'll give it a 6.8.
Look at us. We're all in the same ballpark.
I think we did a really good job there. The fact that critics,
I mean,
let's start.
I'm starting to trust Rotten Tomatoes a lot.
Right, we gotta start checking the credentials of these.
Yeah,
folks
here's the thing for you guys for the end of the year for our games that we play. So far, this is the second highest critically reviewed movie that we've watched this year. So far, the first is Project Hail Mary at 95, but 93. This is second, so pretty high.
Project Hail Mary's fucking awesome.
Way better than this movie for sure.
Way-
Not even in the same like planet. Not in the
Yep.
same.
Not even
You
close.
know,
Oh, did you say that on purpose? Was that a
that is pun intended, bud.
look at you? That's a professional podcaster.
Unbelievable. Yeah, Project Hail Mary is the best movie that's come out this year. I think without
Without a doubt.
much question.
Yep.
This movie is forgettable in most respects.
Yep. Well, I think, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, that is episode 128 of A Beer in Review. Gentlemen, it's so good to see both of your smiling faces and that we got to do this episode together. I cannot wait to continue our journey. I feel like we have a lot of good movies coming up. Disclosure Day, The Odyssey, a new Spider-Man
Mortal Kombat
movie,
2.
Mortal Kombat, Mandalorian. We got some things that we can hit this coming year, and I'm excited to do it with you and our audience. And so everyone out there, and to you boys especially, I say cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers, boys.